So we're in the dad shred, and I wanted to share a little bit about counting calories and the effect that that's had on my life. And I really had a lot of limiting beliefs around counting calories prior to actually getting started with this next phase. And it was really about, I counted calories big time before MyFitnessPal, before any of these crazy awesome apps. So that was maybe like 16, oh, probably 13, 14 years ago, and I had a spreadsheet and I looked at all the different foods that I would eat, which was like 15 or 20 different types of food. I count all the calories on the back of there, or count all the macros on the back of the item, and it was just a real big rigmarole. And I really generated this negative sense of counting calories takes time, counting calories is pedantic, you can't be social if you count calories, and all of these thoughts and processes. The benefit of now counting my calories is it just gives me an extremely easy to follow guideline. And so when we don't have boundaries, we can end up going off willy-nilly. And this is why I actually really love having a set diet. I eat the exact same thing every single day because it provides so much freedom in other areas of my life. So I know that if I just do this, I will end up getting a result because I've seen the results. You've seen it if you watch any of the other videos. And so if you just consistently follow this same pattern, the result is going to come. So it takes out this concern or anxiety around, is what I'm doing going to produce the result, because I'm giving it time to actually work and also trusting in that process. And so by creating these limitations around yourself, or these boundaries, saying, okay, I'm going to eat 2,487 calories per day, this much protein, this much fat, this much carbohydrates, it actually allows you to focus purely on other things, other areas inside of your life, rather than taking up all this time around making sure that your diet's really perfect. It's also why I don't really subscribe to if it fits your macros. That can be perfect for some people who maybe have the time or the desire, but it's probably not the best system for someone who can eat a lot. And if you didn't know this, I'm actually a former competitive eater, so you can look up Hungry Hater if you want a good laugh. But the reality is I can put away food, okay? So putting limitations upon myself is actually a very smart long-term idea. This week, it was probably the first time I felt hungry throughout this entire process. I literally think I've been doing this for 23 days or 24 days. And day 22 and day 21 was when I felt the most hungry. I said to my coach, I'm about a 6 out of 10 in terms of hunger levels. We kept it the same because it's still producing the result. And you actually want to keep the calories where they are for as long as possible to squeeze the most you possibly can out of this particular deficit. Because as long as we're hitting within the gap, which is between 500 grams and a kilo of weight loss on a weekly basis, factoring in that we don't want to see too much lean mass drop, then that's sort of your range. If it goes above that, or you're losing too much weight, then we need to increase the calories. If performance is dropping off, then we also need to look at calories, but we're increasing them, but ultimately we want to make sure that we're in that band, which I am. So not too concerned about that. I'm literally just trusting the process. Before I started, I thought, I can't do this because it's going to pull a gap between me and my wife. How are we we're not going to eat the same foods. So I had a lot of limiting beliefs around what it would do to my relationship, which has actually been fine. We still eat together where we can. We've got a kid, we've got a busy life. So we're still eating together, we're just eating different foods. And she's been really supportive, so I love that, because it enables me to be able to continue doing what I want to do. And even if she said, no, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm not trying to be some alpha red pill dude, but the reality is he or she with the most certainty wins. And I'm so certain on this path that I'm currently going down that it's not even an option for me. And to give you another example, we were at our work Christmas party. I'm just not going to eat anything cheesy, bready, buttery. I was just going to make those conscious food choices, and if that meant I was going to be hungry and I'll have to eat some more food when I got home, then that was just a sacrifice that I was prepared to make. Because when you have goals that you are in alignment with your values, it no longer becomes a question, and it's very hard to be swayed. I don't drink. I rarely drink alcohol because of the effects that it has on me. I don't really like how it feels. I don't like how it tastes. So I just don't drink alcohol. It's not even a question. If I'm going out, I don't even really think about, well, how am I going to dodge those questions? How am I going to justify this to other people? listen, justification to other people is a sign of weak values. So the person with the strongest values never has to justify. I just don't drink. If you don't like that, tough shit. Don't hang around me, don't drink with me, whatever. I'm fine without having that social pressure upon me. I did 516 days of no alcohol when I was 21, 22 years old, because I just didn't like the effect that it had on my body. The person I became when I drank, I didn't like that. And so I realized I could be completely fine. I could function fine in society without even drinking. I know there's a lot of pressure on guys in particular, especially career-driven guys, to be drinking, especially if you've got mates that you grew up with that also like to have a beer. But you don't have to be that person. You can be a totally different person. It's okay to change. You don't need to get stuck in this dogmatic. If you think about it, that's really a conditional relationship. I will be friends with you if you drink alcohol. And it's funny how quickly people will disappear when you no longer provide the benefits to those conditions that they have on that particular relationship. And that's okay too, because if they're not getting what they want, then that's completely fine. They can follow in a path in the direction of their values, and you're going to follow a path in the direction of your values. So I went to my Christmas party, and it was actually finger food, and they were just coming around. I actually had two lamb, they were like little lamb balls, so I knew it was going to be high in protein. I knew that it was actually delicious. They came around with dumplings, deep fried certain things. I can't even remember, like bready type things, just low protein, low caloric value, low satiation. And I thought, you know what, it's not worth it. I'd rather just not, one, drink, but two, not have this particular food inside of my body, because I'm really structured towards my goal right now, and everything that's not in that same structure is actually going to set me back. Now, there's nothing wrong with making those decisions, but every decision has a consequence that's going to affect you inside of the future. And I just know the consequences of said actions and decisions, and they're so aligned with who I am and where I want to be, it doesn't even come into my mind to question it. So if you're someone who's struggling with the idea of counting calories, it's really a reframing of that. It provides the best discipline required, because now I literally don't even have to think about what I'm going to eat or when I'm going to eat it, because I know that I've got these 4 meals. I eat the exact same thing every single day. It makes it seamless. I get my training in, and now really I can tick the box on that part of my life, so I can put my creative efforts into other areas of my life, into my relationship, into my actual workouts, into my career, without needing to worry about my diet and what's actually happening there. When you find a system that works for you, you no longer have to worry about all these different components. Anxiety really is a whole bunch of unanswered questions in your mind. And so by finding solutions to those problems, trusting in the process, monitoring the results, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, and I've given you about 5 different steps there, but this is the pathway to be able to make progress, then you can just follow the system. And if you're doing that, you can give that area of your life a big tick box. So I hope that helps. It's just a little bit of an idea around calorie counting. I haven't checked in since I last spoke to you, because that was on Friday and today is Monday. I might be checking in on Wednesday. I'm not 100% sure yet if I can make the appointment, just because I'm busy, or it might be on Friday, but again, seeing if the times can align properly. But ultimately, I'll be able to provide a little bit more of an update then. I did actually take a snapshot on this camera, actually, of what I'm currently looking like. I'm not going to put it up right now, because I think I can continually get leaner, but this is actually a really good side tangent just before I take off, is I started to see, wow, there's actually some good changes here. And I had good lighting, and I'm like, wow, this actually looks pretty impressive comparative to where I was. And I think it's really important to monitor your progress along the way and really give yourself a pat on the back with your progress. Sometimes it's so hard when you're looking at where you want to be, and you can get caught up in comparison of where everyone else is. But by taking a step back and looking where you were and where you are today, it can give you that little hit of motivational inspiration necessary that you are on the right track, that you are making progress. So by taking progress pictures, by looking at the different data points, and that can be visual, it can be scientific in terms of the numbers and calculations, it can be in terms of the numbers that you're hitting in the gym. So looking at these key markers is actually such good fuel for growth and fuel for you to be able to keep going. I would love to hear your goals for 2024, what you're actually planning on doing. I might actually do a bit of a goal checklist or a goal update and really a goal framework that I'm going to be following, and then maybe you can find some value within that to slot in part of your goals and what you want to create and the vision of who you are and who you want to be in 2024. Let me know in the comment section if that would be valuable to you, and I'll be able to hopefully be able to provide that for you. Otherwise, checking out, and I'll check back in when I get the results of my pinch testing next time I get them, or when I have something that I think will be valuable for you.